And I am beautiful in every single way. Words can't bring me down. No, no. So don't you bring me down. Oh, shoot. I'm mixing up my karaoke video with my teaching video. Sorry about that, guys. No, actually, I've been working on these GIMP videos, and I'm going a little crazy because GIMP is a pretty useful tool, but it takes a little while to get used to. It's not as Photoshop's difficult, but GIMP's a little bit more difficult than Photoshop. So, anyway, I'm getting a little stir crazy here, but powering through. Hopefully, you guys are powering through as well. Hopefully, my videos are helpful and not harmful. But anyway, so here we go. Collage with GIMP Part 4C using selection tools continued. So we're going to jump down to the fuzzy select tool. And by the normally I don't like my tools to be fuzzy, but in this case I do. So let's take a look at what we're going to do with the fuzzy select tool. All right, so we're going to jump back to our hibiscus flower, and we're going to go to tools. We're going to go to selection tools, and we're going to do the fuzzy select tool. Now, remember, whenever you're using a selection tool, you got to kind of pay attention to your options over here. So right now we're replacing the current, so we're selecting just one thing. And the other thing to take a look at is the threshold. It's going to be how much select. So basically you click and drag. I am on the classic noob mistake. I'm on the wrong layer. We got to go to the hibiscus layer. Okay, so let's try that again. I just clicked and it's going to, so now I select the background. All right, so we're going to click and drag this area in the hibiscus flower, and it got a lot of it. It did pretty good. So you just basically click and drag, and it tries to find similar pixels next to it. Let's turn the threshold up a little bit, and sometimes that makes it better, sometimes worse. Let's try again. So we're going to click and drag, and let's see how we do. Oh, it got everything. All right, so I got carried away. So let's turn the threshold down, and let's click and drag. Okay, we got a lot of it. We also got some stuff we didn't want. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to this tool. We're going to go to the rectangle tool, and we're going to add to the current selection. So everything I do is going to add to this selection. So I'm going to click and drag, get that. And now I need to get rid of this stuff. So I'm going to switch it to where it subtracts from the current selection. So I don't want any of this garbage over here. I don't want this garbage over here. So I'm subtracting from that selection. And we can just keep doing that until we get rid of all that stuff. Anyway, so if I kept playing around with it, I could get it pretty good with that tool. But anyway, so we're combining tools. So now we're going to go select. We're going to go invert. So we're going to select everything but the flower. We're going to hit delete the back. No, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, so it doesn't like that. It just turns it white, which is kind of weird. So what we're going to do is we're going to go select invert again. So we're going to select just the flower. We're going to go Control X to cut it. We're going to go edit, paste as a new layer. So we're going to have a layer with just the hibiscus. We're going to click on this layer. We're going to delete that. We don't want it. So now we have our hibiscus layer by itself. We're going to go to the move tool. We want to make sure we're going to move the whole layer. So we'll move. I'm on the wrong one. Okay, so why does it do that? So I'm going to go back to this layer, move that layer. There we go. So we're going to move that hibiscus up into the corner. And you can see it has some weird shadowy stuff. We got some stuff we didn't want, but we could erase that. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter, accept those changes. I'm going to go select none to get rid of that selection. We're going to click here. We're going to go to filters. We're going to go to light and shadow. We're going to go to drop shadow. We're going to use the same drop shadow that we've been using on everything. And that came out pretty good. Click OK. So if we want to, we could just click on that layer. We could go to our eraser tool, and we could kind of erase. Where is the eraser tool? It's around here somewhere. Oh, is that it? Yeah, the one that looks like an eraser. So we could go through and we could erase some of these wild pixels on this layer a little bit. We could play around with the size of it, make it nice and big, and we can erase stuff. Anyway, so we could play around with that and get rid of some of the fuzzy pixels we don't want. Anyway, good enough for now. All right, let's take a look at the other tool real fast. Alright, so in order to demonstrate the color picker tool, we're going to turn on the yellow leaf. Alright, and the reason I'm doing this is because it's mostly yellow, all the same color, and the color picker selects things all the same color. So we can go to the tools, selection tools, select by color. In the same way, it's got the threshold, so how powerful it is. So like this color yellow is a little bit darker than this color yellow, so we want it to be able to select that range of yellow. So let's give it a shot. So we'll click, and you can see it's selected quite a bit. We might want to actually turn that threshold down a little bit. So, and we're replacing it. So we click. Yeah, we got just the leaf and nothing extra. So what we can what we can do is we could add to it with one of these tools. So we could go to add, and we could add to that selection and get that. One thing I want to let's go back to the color picker though. I want to finish explaining that tools, selection tools by color. So one thing that's interesting about the color tool that's different than the fuzzy tool is it will select all the colors. So for example, if I click on this, it's going to get all the stuff in the whole, anything that's close to it in color. It doesn't have to be next to it, whereas the fuzzy one, it has to be adjacent to it, it has to be next to it. So it'll find anything with similar color. Okay, so there you have it. I think that's going to be it for this part of the spiel. We'll continue learning some more selection tools.